SEC put Ripple in a big trouble. SEC caused Ripple a great deal of distress. The regulatory agency took a step further in its stance by making a request for remedies and entry of final judgment, which escalated the ongoing legal battle between Ripple Labs and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. A $2 billion punishment against Ripple is being sought in this motion. Fred Rispoli, creator of Hodl Law and prominent XRP advocate, has offered a thorough examination of the SEC's motion in a series of remarks posted on X, formerly Twitter. Based on his insider knowledge, Risbali's insight sheds light on the current strategies and possible consequences. His information is that the SEC's intended motion for judgment has been made public. Simply said, the SEC is behaving in accordance with the plan that I laid out for them 2 months ago. Both the gravity of the issue for Ripple and the certainty of the SEC's actions are reflected in this remark. The SEC has put Ripple in a difficult position. The research highlights various significant points in the SEC petition, namely the claim that Ripple offered substantial discounts to some institutional buyers when they bought XRP, claiming that Ripple gave one group of institutional sales investors significantly discounted XRP prices, while the other group did not. The SEC asserts that there were two sets of investors. Both retail investors and a small number of institutional sales investors may have had their interests skewed by this behavior. This deliberate move, the lawyer claims, was the agency's own. It came to the conclusion that proof of actual harm to investors is required. Ripple has already stated that the SEC's motion includes multiple misstatements. This paints a negative picture of Ripple and lends credence to XRP's detractors who are curious about the low risk associated with the pricing. So here's hoping it's true. In particular, Boley brought up Ripple's steep discounts on XRP sales. While doing so, he expressed his displeasure with the revelation, saying that institutional purchasers like G-Sword would be able to purchase XRP at such low prices and then sell it at an enormous profit if the discounts are large enough. This announcement was made in regards to the possibility that Ripple's activities have tipped the investing landscape in favor of XRP, a setback for the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission in the Ethereum lawsuit is what Ripple CEO believes will happen according to him. More specifically, Rispoli shed light on how the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission characterized Ripple's business practices, including how the company persisted in using XRP sales as its primary income generator in the face of increasing judicial scrutiny. More specifically, as he asserts, even though Ripple is currently embroiled in litigation, the financial discovery it received shows that this is its main source of revenue. This raises questions about how dependent Ripple is on these acquisitions. Meanwhile, the article reveals that Ripple has not yet finalized contracts with institutional buyers. The company has inked 180 contracts since the XRP litigation began in December 2020. Two possible outcomes have been forecasted by an XRP supporting lawyer. Classifying Ripple's on-demand liquidity ELO transactions is another crucial part of Rispoli's methodology. The legal evaluation of whether these transactions constitute illegal sales or are permissible under the law is an important factor that may affect Ripple's operational attitude. Rispel, he continues by saying that we can only pray that Ripple has altered its operations enough to comply with Torres' order and that the stakes are indeed substantial. Speculation over the likelihood of a settlement has been made by Rise, and the SEC's motion may have far-reaching consequences. According to his assessment, this move will have far-reaching effects, and he proposed two solutions to the problem. Before anything else, the court's mandated sum is small enough, and the regulations on newly constructed sales are favorable enough to cause a ripple effect that leads to a final settlement following the verdict. Right now, I'm going to put the odds at 40%. According to the odds, the amount of money owing will be decided in favor of Ripple. Nevertheless, Ripple may face challenges over future authorization, which might lead to an appeal to the second court. U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission staff have proposed fines and penalties for Ripple, a blockchain company, in a briefing document that presents another narrative. The story that the company's leaders are pushing is at odds with this one. Ripple was proposed to pay a grand total of approximately $1.95 billion in civil penalties, disgorgement payments, and prejudicement interest by Securities and Exchange Commission attorneys in a March 25 filing with the U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York. The regulator found that the fines and penalties were justified since Ripple disobeyed the law by selling XRP while receiving legal warnings. Since a civil penalty should not be limited to the cost of doing business for a securities law violator, as the Second Circuit has ruled, and because the necessity for deterrence is evident, the Securities and Exchange Commission asserts that Ripple is in a strong position to pay a substantial civil penalty. The author argues that one is necessary in this case due of Ripple's massive volume of unrecorded XRP sales over the past 3 years. The statement matched the expectations of Stuart Alderati, chief legal officer of Ripple, who had previously warned in a March 25 post that the company would be subject to fines and penalties totaling approximately $2 billion. According to Alderati, Ripple was going to be punished and threatened by the SEC. The company was supposed to respond to the proposed judgment in April, which described the situation where Ripple will be made to reconsider its actions only after a heavy fine and the return of its illegally acquired wealth are imposed by this court. After years of warning users to be careful, Ripplex resolves the Ampool issue that affected the XRP ledger. The Securities and Exchange Commission said in its lawsuit against Ripple's co-founder and CEO, Chris Larsen, that the firm had sold XRP coins for $1.03 billion in unregistered securities. The lawsuit was initiated in December 2020, and it was not until July 2023 that Judge Analisa Torres concluded that XRP did not constitute a security with respect to automated sales on digital asset exchanges. In the Bitcoin world, the matter generated quite a commotion. David Schwartz, chief technologist at Ripple Labs, recently caused a stir with remarks about how difficult it is to avoid selling XRP because of tax obligations. A lot of people heard what Schwartz had to say. The chief executive officers of Ripple confront the reality of tax burden. He said, drawing attention to the tax penalties associated with cryptocurrency assets. He went on to say that the company and its employees can hardly resist selling XRP. Schwartz has changed his mind about the freedom of digital asset owners to sell whenever they choose and has now shown the difficulties of really liquidating XR positions. He used the possibility that business executives like himself could have to liquidate XRP to pay taxes as an example to support his claim. To demonstrate, Schwartz said that selling a large portion of a 1 million XRP incentive would be required to cover the tax bill that would be due as a result of getting the bonus. Due to the fact that the price of XRP is currently struggling to reach 61 cents, on-chain data reveals that Ripple has made a big movement of XRP. In comparison to the rest of the market, the price of XRP has performed poorly over the course of the 2 most recent months. In addition, the recent disclosure that Ripple might potentially get $2 billion in compensation from the United States Securities and Exchange Commission in its case against the company did not help XRP's trajectory over the previous week. In the midst of the chaos, on-chain data reveals that Ripple has been moving significant amounts of XRP. A blockchain address that is affiliated with the corporation initiated a transfer of 130 million XRP, which is equivalent to $79 million to a different wallet on Thursday. That's all for now.